Well, I popped along to the super stage, and I'm with Lynsey Addario here, war photographer. What happened when at the school when you went to the careers officer, Lynsey? Was there a discussion about war photography?
No, there really wasn't. There was a discussion about my interest in international relations and other cultures, but I was not interested in war.
So how did it happen for you? I mean, I'm guessing the photography came first, and it developed from there.
Actually, the photography came first, but also my curiosity in other cultures was paired with that. So it just sort of happened organically because I was living in India, and Afghanistan was right next door, and many of the correspondents based there were covering Afghanistan under the Taliban, and I ended up going out of curiosity. How were women living under the Taliban? The Taliban were giving visas to journalists at the time, and so I started going there, and then I just continued. I covered the fall of the Taliban and then sort of positioned myself to cover the war in Iraq, and eventually, at some point, people started calling me a war photographer, and it was a term that I never thought of myself as a war photographer, and now it's 15 years later.
Okay, so it kind of evolved for you, really. So, I understand. Obviously, you've been in some really difficult situations. You've been kidnapped. Is that right?
I've been kidnapped twice. I was kidnapped in Iraq in 2004 by Sunni insurgents near Fallujah, and again in 2011 by Gaddafi's troops. In Libya, sorry. Okay,
and when these things happen, I mean, do you question your sanity a little bit on the career choice again?
No, I never question my sanity because I really believe in what I'm doing, and I think that the role of journalists is fundamental for everyone in our society. But I do question why I personally feel the need to be there. I think, obviously, if I find myself face down in the dirt about to be executed in Libya, I'm going to ask myself, what the hell am I doing here?
And I don't know if I got this right, but I heard a rumor of a film. What's all that about?
Warner Brothers has optioned the book to become a movie. So all of the other rumors about who's playing me and who's directing and all, it's Hollywood. So I think it's pretty premature to put names on things at this point. But Warner has optioned it, and it will be a movie.
And how does that feel? Because not every day that you get a movie made on your life.
Yeah, it's incredibly flattering. Obviously, I never expected that. I think also it's really important for our profession, photojournalism, and for people to keep working on trying to show what it's about and the issues we cover. I think all photojournalists, the main goal for all of us is to get the issues out there. And if a Hollywood movie helps bring light to those issues, then that's fabulous.
Now, it's not long until your talk, because I'm sort of using up your time when you probably should be preparing. But what are you going to be talking about? What are you going to go to show the people that are going to fill the hall?
I will be showing sort of the trajectory of my career. How does a woman from Connecticut end up covering war? And I'll show stories that have really shaped sort of my personal view, and I'll tell the stories behind the pictures.
And are you expecting some difficult questions from the audience afterwards? Because I've sneaked into the end of some of the other people's talks, and there's always been a few questions. So are you ready for those?
Yeah, I'm always ready for difficult questions.
And I think, am I right in thinking you also do get involved in some training with photographers? I'm sure I read that somewhere.
I don't have a formal system where I train photographers. If people come to me, I'm always happy to help and give advice. And young photographers, especially women, I always encourage to come reach out to me whenever. But I don't have a formal workshop that I do.
And I know today there's a bit of a forum going on about women in photography, and clearly you are a woman in photography. How important is it that you're a woman covering a subject as tough and as difficult as war and conflict?
You know, it sort of bums me out that in 2015 we still have to have this discussion because there are still so few women covering war and so few women in photojournalism at all, and I'm not sure why that is. But when I walk through this expo, for example, it's mostly men, and so I think we all have work to do to get more women involved.
Excellent. Lynsey, I'm going to leave you to prepare. Thank you very much for talking to us.